So
Sure.
let me quickly introduce Suriya, who's the mentor who's going to present today's webinar on inclusivity. So Suriya Subbiah is a go-to-market strategist, influencer, enabler for startups. She's been a jury for electronics product innovation. She also has a strong expertise in PR and communications. She has created programs for women in technology, and in the process, she has learned the pros and cons of being a woman in a leadership role. With great networking and business acumen, she has learned the lessons of professional life. She's a go-getter herself, and she inspires women from all verticals to do their best. Her motto in life is walk the unexplored path and leave a trail. So it's really inspiring for us to hear from you today, Suriya, on a topic that all of us must understand. I know that most of us keep talking about the situation. We complain and crib, and we wonder why it is like what it is today. But we hope to learn a few things from you so that we are better prepared and we can kind of influence the situation around us. Few do's and don'ts for everyone on the webinar today. Please keep yourselves muted and your video off. Whenever you need to intervene with a question or any comment, please do raise your hand and we will let you unmute yourselves to ask that question. It's best to do all the questions at the end, but if there is a need to intervene in between, so please do as I said, raise your hand and we will unmute you. So over to you, Suriya.
Great. Thank you so much, Nirja. It has been a really pleasure connecting with you again. I would like to, as Nirja had already mentioned, this is Surya here, and I have a lot of expertise in terms of interacting with leadership roles as well as being a leader myself. I work with a company which is into hardware industry. However, I intend to become a solopreneur, which is also something which I'm doing on a part-time basis. So I'll just like to take few time of yours to understand what is it that your ask is and what is it that your fear is, right? So I would like to share a slide. Let's start with that. And any queries or anything, feel free to ping it in the chat there. There's a chat box, or ask over the mic as Nija had suggested. I'm just going to share my presentation right now. Okay. So inclusivity at workplace, I mean, it's a jargon which all of us have heard it. But I would like to know from all of you, do you think it is something which is true or do you think it is not? Do you believe in inclusivity at workplace? Is it yes or no? Can you please give me some answers? I would like to hear from you. Okay. So we all agree that there is inclusivity there. That's great. Okay, there is somebody who said not completely. So we will get into the details of that very soon as to what part of it you believe is, inclusive and what part it is not. So we will take, what we can do is we will go through a couple of cliche issues that all of us face, right? So I'll just take you through the slide deck and then maybe we can start with the questions. So what is the expectation from this session? What is it that you would like to understand from this session? Would you like to just message in there on the chat box? Okay, better understanding of what an inclusive workplace should be like. Okay, I think it's a two-way street there, Shweta, because okay, how inclusivity in different industry. All right. As I was just telling, inclusivity is different for different industry, yes, and also it is a two-way street. So while we expect the industry or organization to be doing these 10 things for us, what are we in turn doing for the industry, right? So it is basically a two-way street, and I will get into that shortly. Thanks for sharing your expectation. How does it positively impact women in all levels, right? Better understanding of policies related to working women, right? There is no presentation, there is no sound in the presentation, it's just going to be text. So that's why you can't hear the presentation. So I'll just go to the next slide, which talks about the 3 W's. I mean, we are women, right? So let's talk about the 3 W's, though of course, W here means something different. What is the biggest achievement in your career, you have achieved, before you went on a long break. What, according to you, is the biggest achievement? Okay, I'll go on to the next one. Why do you think it is your biggest achievement? You just have to pen it down for yourself. Okay, I'll tell you in the end why I'm asking you to pen it down. Take a notebook and just write these questions, or rather answer these questions. What is the biggest achievement in your career before you went on a long break? Why do you think it is your biggest achievement? What did you go through to achieve it? It could be anything, because you may be a tech woman, you may be a HR professional, a marketing professional, or anything at all. It could be as simple as probably getting a project done all by yourself, basically taking the lead, right? I'm just giving you a few examples, right? So I hope everybody has noted something there in your notebook. Trust me, if you answer this question to your for yourself, it will help in a great way, because the intention of these questions are to let you be aware of what you have done in the past, and there's nothing changed there. So I'm going to the next one. What is the cliche thing one would hear of in today's world, or in any corporate world, right? Well, women have always been known for their skills in HR or marketing jobs, admin jobs, secretarial jobs. But how many of them have actually, the technical knowledge that women have got? How much of them actually has been put into use? In fact, in one of the reports, if I'm not wrong, it's been indicated that STEM, right, science and engineering and mathematics and technology, right, in that field, women somehow are much lesser in number when compared to the men. Yes, so that's great, Priya. I'm a software professional, graduate in computers. Great. Was good in academics. Maybe I got a job. Uh, but you are currently in a job. Is it right, Priya? And I'm sure you're happy with the job. You do not have a job. Okay. So yes, what we can do now is, you are a great stay-at-home mom. Okay, is that your choice, or is something else your choice? It's your choice. Okay, so I guess you wanted to be good in academics, which you are, and it's your choice that you want to stay at home. That's perfectly, it's a hats off to you. But I'm sure there are a lot of okay, now the question, Priya, do you want to come back to a professional life? All right, so we will come to Priya, if she's able to answer that question. I mean, as long as she's interested to be a stay-at-home, that's perfectly fine. But if she intends to come back, then there is a solution for that also, and I'll be sharing that shortly. There is another cliche which is well known in the current trend: is women are not career focused and they prioritize their family over work. Now, frankly, now in the case of Priya, maybe she has wanted it that way, but there are lots of women out there who believe that they want to come back to the industry. They just don't want to be called as a mom only, right, or a wife only. They want to be called with a name, an individuality which they want to give to their name. So that is what we would like to talk about in this session, and how do we go about it. So, as I had indicated in the past, I do work for a company which is into the hardware industry, and I would like to share one case study with you. I had the opportunity to visit few manufacturing industries, and this is not very far off in Mysore. And I had a privilege to actually meet a woman who is a HR professional. But guess what? She's a HR professional in a manufacturing industry, which is filled with men. And the best part is that all the men out there who are working in the manufacturing factory are actually reporting to her, and she handles a complete roster for them. It didn't really matter to her whether she was in a manufacturing industry, whether she was in a plush IT desk job or anything else. But it was going to be difficult for her, right? But she just took that step and said, yes, I want to work in a manufacturing industry. Working for a manufacturing industry, works in the HR division, though she's in the HR domain, but she is among the, I mean, don't you think it's a hats off to her? Among a male dominated space there, she was the only woman whom I saw in this space. So frankly, I mean, that's it. Doesn't really matter which domain you belong to, as long as you have the confidence in making it large. I would like to take you through another case study. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I would like to take you to another case study, right? Now again, do everybody know what a PCB is? A PCB. It's that, yeah, great. Thanks, Suma. Uh, okay, so PCB is that green board, like it's as a motherboard, right? Where all the circuits and everything is put on there, and then that gets into your computers and laptops and all of these. So Mysore has got a facility which is called the PCB facility, where PCBs are manufactured there. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So guess what? So I went to this great thing was I managed to, I mean, I was being invited to kind of take a tour of the facility of that particular PCB factory. And as always, and I was frankly not, surprised that there were all men out there in the PCB factory. So there was a supervisor who was showing us around, right? If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay. Please tell me to slow down and I'll slow down.
Sure.
Right. So, yeah, so I went to this facility, and of course, there were all men around. It was a manufacturing plant. It's a semiconductor, motherboard creating of a motherboard of called PCB, and of course, they were all men. So I just, smiled and I just said, so it's quite obvious, supervisor, that there are only men here. Do you think women are not capable to work in a PCB facility? I just asked him that. And the supervisor, you won't believe, he just laughed, right? He said, you know what, let's go further I'll take you further more. And when he took me to the other lab, and Ola, I see all women out there. And you know what he says? He says, this is the quality control room and you will see only women here. Right? So what it means is women are very high, they're highly skilled in quality. That is their inborn talent. Apparently, women can actually, and oh, by the way, when I was looking through it, I saw that women, they were not using any microscope or any lens or any kind of lens to see the circuits or see the board. They were using their naked eye, right? And that quality room was filled with women, again in a manufacturing plant, right? So frankly, I mean, while we all agree that women can work in any facility, so everybody out here, do you have any thoughts about this? What is your thought? Do you think what you just saw in terms of the two case studies, do you think they are would you be able to manage yourself or see yourself in a facility where you wouldn't have even thought about in the past? Do you see yourself there?
I think it also depends from person to person, what they're looking at. For example, yeah, like the case study that you said in case study 1 about the manufacturing department, we usually have this feeling that it's only men and how can women work there. So that's a good example.
True, that's very true. And trust me, even I was super amazed to see that, and I was super happy, actually amazed and happy to see them there. So these are professionals, both, and the women, by the way, they were both a mix of blue collared and white collared, right? So both of them were there.
Right.
Great. So I'll just move on to the last bit. What we understand from this, just focus on one thing. You know what, women, we tend to do multiple things, right? Apparently our brain is created in such a way that we do multitasking. It's a great thing to have, but when it comes to professionalism, I think we need to start putting a full stop to our activities. We need to focus on one thing and do that in the best way, and that's how we can actually achieve what we want to achieve. That's the simplest way I can put this whole case study into. Okay, now what are the challenges at workplace? I'm sure all of you are pretty aware of the challenges one faces at workplace. I just managed to get some of them and I'll share that with you. Right? Inequality in pay. How many of you are for it? Yes, I would be better and easy to manage there, right? Do you believe in inequality in pay is something which is very, very common in all corporate scenarios?
I think it depends. It depends from company to company, because here I don't see a difference like that, because we are probably more women oriented. A lot of women are there, though we've given opportunities for men to join, but we don't show any such difference. Men or women, it's just absolutely equal.
In terms of pay also?
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful. So which vertical will that be? IT, marketing,
No,
or?
so I'm part of the creative and communication agency.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So here we don't have such a difference. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think, yeah, that so creative agency that we're calling right now, I think 15, 20 years ago, we used to call it as an advertising agency. Nowadays, it's no
Correct.
longer advertising
Yeah.
agency. But yes, you know what? Actually, you're well said, because I started my career with an advertising and multimedia company. And trust me, the work culture was way too different, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. I just loved the space there. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's great. Not in leadership levels, gender pay, that's right, and it's evident in middle management. Yeah, Shweta, I completely agree with you. And yes, so I would like to, what I will be doing in the forthcoming slides is talk about few of the challenges that one may have to, one do face, right? And how do we tackle it? That is, again, person to person, and this is my thought process on how we can actually face the challenge. So inequality in pay is one. Women on top the leadership roles. So I'm sure all of you agree that not many are in the leadership roles. We are all in the middle management. We believe that we are in the middle management because we deserve that. We don't deserve to be on the leadership level, etc., etc. I mean, there are so many such articles that I have actually seen. Lesser opportunity for restarting career. Again, it's a 60-40 kind of a thought process, and I will come to that. Gender difference, work-life balance, right? So these are the topics that we will now be talking upon, and I'll just get into the detail of that. Right. Before I get into the detail, I would like you to get some grasp, some facts and figures, which I managed to get from a couple of reports that is available on public domain. So despite progress, women are scarce among senior leaders, right? Now, according to the Fortune list of 2018, guess what? Only 4.8% are CEOs of a company. In fact, if I'm not wrong, 5 years ago or a couple of years ago, it was only 4%. So it's kind of upped to 2.8%, which is a good thing, but not great, right? Women account for less than a quarter of senior roles globally. So great. Guess what? We are not only, this is not a problem only in India, it's a problem globally. Women are gradually gaining representation among executive committees in global hundreds, but still we are very, very less. And guess what? 4% in Asia. I mean, come on, we deserve more. Women in India, sorry, they are, I think they do a very good work-life balance, and I think we deserve more. We should come up to the top bracket. So this is, I'm sure all of you would have heard of the Catalyst report. So all this information that you see there is from the Catalyst report. And in fact, McKinsey report actually says that if women work on par with men, then we can actually increase the India's GDP by 60%. Wow, right? These facts and figures sometimes really amazes me. I'm like, what are we doing? We really need to build ourselves up, scale up, upgrade ourselves, and just push it when we need to. Now let's talk about the global pay gap between men and women. Apparently it's widening as per the Catalyst report in 2018 October. So apparently it's only 0.81% to every $1. So if while a man earns $1, a woman with the same caliber, the same portfolio earns 0.81. And I think this is pretty much right. These are a couple of other facts and figures which I just got it out from the reports. Yeah, the most common roles held by women in India are HR, director, and corporate controller, which is quite low. So, what do you think about these stats that we have just seen? Do you think we should change it? How many of you are in to change it? I would like to hear. Yes, absolutely, we should, and we will find ways to reach to the top management. It all depends upon the woman's need, the urge and the confidence to take it to the top. In fact, I have seen cases where there okay, so it is amusing again, but I have seen very few cases where the woman is actually doing better than her counterpart, the husband, and because she had to shift place, the husband also shifted. I mean, that's perfectly all right. Women have been doing that till now, where they move out of their state or their workplace to the husband's place. But in off late, I have seen that very minimal though. But the men have said, okay, fine, no problem. My wife works here. I'm willing to go there. So that's really nice too. Here, men come to the open-minded thought that it doesn't really matter who has to move. It doesn't have to be necessarily the woman who has to do all the sacrifices, right? So yeah, great. Yeah, we should. So let's now go to
I
deal
have
with.
a quick question. I just
Sure.
wanted to check, would you be sharing this presentation because it's got quite a bit of details in it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I can mail it to you. I'll be sharing my contact details on the bottom. At the last slide, you can please connect with me. And also Nirja and her team also would be having a copy of it. So you can also take it from them. Either way is fine.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. So what is it that we have to do? Either we have to just deal with it. Okay, this is how it is. This is how I need to work. This is what my pay scale is going to be. Just keep, feeling bad about it, or just deal it, right? Right now, the slides that you will be going through will only talk about dealing it. How does one fight through it and get through it? When I say fight, I mean, obviously, be pushing hard. That's all I mean to say. Now, the problem statement is inequality in pay, right? We all know that the men obviously get I mean, come on, even in my case also is the same thing, right? So it's all the same. The middle management is the same. The higher management is the same. However, what matters is, are you willing to just stay, okay, fine, yeah, I'm probably only capable of X amount. That is not what we need to stop at. We need to let the senior management know that, hey, I have done these 10 things and uh, I deserve something more than what I'm getting, 2x, 3x, whatever that is. There's nothing wrong in asking, and nobody's going to judge you for that. Trust me. So how do we deal it? To decrease the pay gap, speak up and emphasize on your strengths. And during interviews or during appraisals, add that extra bullet points. Hey, by the way, this is a little bit of secret which I'm trying to give out. It is, and this is true, okay? I know a couple of my male counterparts do that. When it comes to appraisals, you don't have to be 100% true to what you're doing, what you have done. Let's say I'm giving an example, okay? Let's say I've done 10 projects, right? And 2 of the projects are probably not to the great extent. Frankly, in my appraisal, I should mention 12 projects and not 10 projects where 2 is small. And I don't want to give the 2 projects much of importance because it's something very small. Maybe just I had to do some email interactions and stuff like that. No, that is something which we should emphasize, saying, I did 10 projects, 2 projects are small, I don't care, it doesn't matter, I've done in total 12 projects. Am I clear there? I mean, are you getting what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying here. So when you're talking to people, you have talking to your senior management, talking to a person who's interviewing you, talking to your own peer, right? Tell positive things about you, because if you're not positive about what you're doing, others will not be, right? So it's perfectly all right to talk extra about what you already do. That's perfectly all right. Do you agree, or do you think that lying is not good? Actually, frankly, you're not lying there, are you? You're just talking, you're just making something which is smaller, you are taking it to a larger level. You're just saying that this is not something small which I did. I've done a project, and that's all it matters to me. Small or big doesn't matter. Yeah, is that okay?
I think it's more like so there are these certain people I know, they may have really worked on a lot of projects, but they're not able to kind of project themselves. But there are some who don't really have too many things to do, but they can really project themselves. So they usually get a lot of visibility because they're able to like sell the things that they have done. They might have done half of what the other person has done.
Exactly.
Then,
and that is what we need to do. That's exactly what we need to do. Right. So like we said, we climbed 10, we may have climbed 10 stairs, and the remaining we would have taken the lift. But there's nothing wrong in saying, hey, I reached the 15th floor. How I do it is my problem, right? How I did it, whether I took the stairs, whether I took the lift, that's my problem. Only 7% of women are in the leadership roles, and a couple of years back, it was only 4% globally. Again, the good thing is that we have increased to 3% by 3%, but definitely this is not a good enough increase in leadership roles. So how do we deal it? We need to begin to think differently, right? Like we just said, women should not think that, oh, I'm lucky and that is why I got this job. No, if you're not lucky, you're getting into the job because of your skills, because the organization believes that you can do that particular job, whatever the job is. It could be a tech role, it could be marketing, PR, admin, secretarial, coding. I mean, the hardcore technical software or hardware job, anything that is. The organization is in no way going to feel sympathy or anything like that. For them, it's business. End of the day, if you're able to deliver the business, they'll be more than happy to take you on, right? So leadership role is only possible when you start taking up your responsibilities. So if, let's say, there is a huge project which has come up, right? Your leader says, your senior management says in a meeting, saying, you know what, you need to get through this particular project, you'll have to travel about extra, etc. Now guess what, the first point person who would actually raise up their hand would be some guy out there. Hey, you know what, I've already been there, I've already done that. And trying to bring that statement out. But we as women kind of feel, we start thinking, would I be able to do it? Would I be able to find time to go abroad, get the project done, and come back? What will happen to my family? Great thoughts to have, but trust me, if you want it, then you have to do whatever it takes to get it there. Handling your family, I mean, I'm sure they're understanding enough to get that sorted. If you want to do that project and make yourself feel happy about it, then just do it. Don't think twice. And trust me, in that particular meeting room, you can actually say that, yes, I want to take up this project. I have already interacted with the client, or I have already done a similar project. You can say that. Let them know in front of others. You don't have to go inside a cabin and do it. It's all about the confidence. That's all that matters. And only when you start taking responsibility, trust me, even the organization will start believing in you, and that's how you will raise up the ladder, right? Is this making sense to what I just said? Any of you who has faced it and you managed to reach up to the project that you always wanted to do? You can answer on the chat. Okay. Has anybody got any kind of thought process on it? Anything that you have in a meeting filled with your peers and your senior management, have you ever have you ever got up and actually said that you actually can do that particular project, or you can actually deal with that particular project by yourself? Okay, you shifted from a non-technical to procurement inside the factory. That's great. You have done so traveled as that was a need for my project. That's wonderful. And I'm sure both of you feel great about it, right? Because you have done something with a responsibility, and also the fact that you have reached, your management has actually figured out that yes, you can do this solo. So the next project comes automatically to you whether you ask for it or not.
Surya, I think the other thing that also happens is the fear factor comes not from the current state of things, but what about the future? And the future could be 1 month away or 1 year away. But I think we think so much about the future that we leave the current also.
That's very true. I think future is changing. Nothing is constant. So what you fear of now may not hold good for the future. You may probably have to fear for something else in the future. So I guess we all agree to the fact that yes, we have done great things for a work profile, for doing something that is out of our comfort zone, right? So trust me, that continues to be so in the past as well as even now, and it will continue to be so. So just get out of your comfort zone and push that extra mile that you have to go. And that's the only way one can reach into a leadership role. Just going to the next problem statement. Oh, by the way, this is something which I really like, the statement you see there. Women who seek to be equal to men lack ambition. So being equal to men is not being ambitious. Being beyond what men do is what is called ambition. So I guess we all need to keep this in mind, that we don't have to be equal to men at all. If we do, then we're lacking ambition. All right. So I'll just go to the next problem statement. So far, so good, everybody. I mean, am I clear? Am I audible? Am I not? I hope I'm not going too fast. Right. So the next one that we are talking about is lesser opportunity for restarting career. well, we all believe that there's going to be, difficult for anybody to restart the career after a decade or a decade and a half or even a 5 years of gap, right? Yes, it is true. There's no challenge out there. But how do we deal with it or deal it is, one, to upgrade your skill, and two is to network. Trust me, these two works like magic. Whether you're doing an online course, whether you're doing a part-time course or whatever that is, in whichever field that you want to, please keep upgrading yourself. Please keep reading the articles. Please keep yourself updated about all the knowledge in your own domain, right? That will help you to actually come back to the organization, maybe not the same organization that you worked before, but in some organization, and also the fact that upgrading your skills is also going to help you raise up faster than the others. And of course, networking. Please network, not among the family kind of function, but network for business. Please attend there are lots and lots of events out there, so whichever is your domain specific, please network, connect with them, stay in touch with them, because that is going to help you. You never know opportunity will come from in which way or manner. Somebody probably may come up to you and say, hey, you know what, it was nice meeting you. I have a opportunity, or I know of some opportunity, would you like to take it up? Or you might find somebody just wants to say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking of opening up a company, a startup, would you like to join with me? I mean, anything is possible. So opportunity is there. There's no denial on it. It's just that we have to upgrade ourselves at all times, right? Uh, well, this is something which I also took from the public domain. Apparently, considering that there's a 10% increase of salary, a woman who actually comes back to her career has got a lower amount as a monthly salary, which is something where, if you look at the screen there, the maroon one is for the men and the green one is for the women. So while a woman, after she comes back from her break, earns about 80K, the same thing a man earns about 1.4. Well, not good, that we all know. But how do we, like I said, how do we make that work is only by upgrading ourselves and letting people know that we are capable of it, right? And well, gender difference, I will not take much of the time. We there are a lot of organizations which do believe, and by this, in fact, in the start of this particular session, we did hear some women who said gender in creative agencies, for example, there is no gender problem. So I guess that way we are pretty good. But I think we should try to make a gender problem, we should not take it as a larger issue. Women has to be confident, which have to be confident to deal with this gender difference. And there are lots of HR policies in the organization, so let the management know that you're not for the gender discrimination and stuff like that. And all that we have to do in that case, if you're finding you're not comfortable with the management having this gender difference, all that you have to do is to move into a company which has a very conducive policy for women as well, right? That's the only way to go about it. Work life balance, you know what, a lot of companies in India have come up with an amazing solution to a work-life balance. So while the women out there are with the kids and infants and babies, the good part is companies like ENY, Accenture, ICICI, Mindtree, they actually have a space within the campus, like a creche, right? Like a creche within the campus. So women have got the flexi hours. Two, they can bring the babies to their office and take care of them while they're doing their job. And three, they also have maternity breaks and likewise. So I think the world is changing. There are companies who are looking at these options, both not only MNCs, but also startups and MSMEs and small time companies. They're also looking into it. I think now the world is changing to a much more fast going and easy going kind of an atmosphere. As long as everybody is comfortable, people are willing to take in mothers who have actually have a break. In fact, um, Jobs for Her, Inc., the subsidiary, is also working on the same line. And maybe you can also take this support in due course. So that's about my presentation. I will be sharing that with you, but I would like to give you a couple of thoughts which came from the women leadership itself. I mean, I'm sure all of you know whom you see on the screen. It's Sheryl Sandberg from the Facebook. And all she says is, we need women at all levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. Then we have the president and CEO of IBM, a lady herself. I learned to always take on things I've never done before. Growth and comfort do not coexist. So this is what I was saying, that we need to get out of our comfort zone. All right. The others, I will let you read through it when the presentation is shared with you. And last but not the least, I would like you to please take your pen and paper. I do not want anybody to please to take a laptop or mobile. Please take a pen and a paper. Can we get ready with that, please? All that you have to do is make a wish list of your goal in life, what you want to achieve or what you want to know. Okay? Then what you do is consider that as your goal. Pen down the method of reaching your goal. So for example, if I, let's say I want to go to Nandi Hills by cycle. I mean, I'm giving you a very simple example. But if I start tomorrow just going up to Nandi Hills, I don't think I will be able to do a good job, right? What I need to do is strategize, where I need to keep my heartbeat in a steady level, for which I need to do exercise. So if you come in the reverse order, my goal is to reach the Nandi Hills, right? But what are the steps I'm taking to reach there? Keeping myself fit, keeping myself healthy, getting up early in the morning and getting a good hours of sleep. Those are the strategy involved to reach to the goal. Do you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So make a note of your goal. It could be 1 or 2, but do not go beyond 3. You cannot have more than 3 goals. Keep 3 as your cap. It can even be 2. That's perfectly fine. But do not go beyond 3 goals, and how you plan to achieve it, right? Every day, step by step, reach towards that goal. For example, like, I'm not a morning person, okay? But if I have to go to Nandi Hills, I need to ensure that for the next 1 week or 10 days, I get up at 5 o'clock, right? So that is one of the strategy to reach myself to that particular goal. It's perfectly all right if you're slow. It doesn't matter, as long as you're reaching and you're doing it. Also, talk to the people. Since we are all talking about professional life, we are all talking about business. All that we have to do, in addition to making note of what we intend to do and how we intend to do it, please share your views with people who are like-minded. Now, for example, let's say you have 2 friends, right? One friend is all that career oriented and she wants to be a go-getter. The other one wants to be at home taking care of the family, which is good. I mean, nobody's bad. But if your intention is to do well in your career, then interact with the person who is career oriented more. Share your views with her, because she will be able to understand, he or she will be able to understand what you have in mind, and may be able to give you ideas, may be able to give you the connects as well, right? So that's what I meant by talk to people who share your views and believes in you. Make a note of your SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. What is the most strong person that you are? What is your strength? For example, for some, strength could be communications. I mean, they're damn good in content. For some, it could be sales. For some, it could be singing. For some, it could be a business, right? They're good in becoming an entrepreneur. It could be any of those. So that becomes your strength. What is your weakness? Weakness could be maybe not being able to give much time, right? Maybe not an outgoing person. So those are the weakness. What are the opportunities? Opportunities and threat actually will not be needed much here, but opportunities, you can probably think about, where if I have to reach here, what are my opportunities that I need to, or what are the platforms I need to go to, right? Those things, you can probably make a note of it. And trust me, when you have made a note of that in a paper, fold it and keep it in your purse. Every night before you go to bed, and every morning once you're done, if you do your prayers, then just go through that paper day in and day out. It really, really, really works, because I had about 16 years ago or 17 years ago, when I started my career, I had taken a small visiting card wala, that empty one, back to back empty ones. I had made 4 things in as a point there, and I kept it in my purse. Well, the good part is 2 things actually worked out of that, right? So I'm happy. I know I didn't get the 100%, but at least I got the 50% done, and I'm happy with it. So, like I said, it really works, and do please do this task. Trust me, it will really help and make you understand what you really want in life. So that's about it. And any questions, anything? Oh, by the way, this is my contact details. Just feel free to reach out to me. I've given my number, I've given my email ID. I can also help you restart your career or any new venture that you intend to do. I have a consulting agency by myself. It's called Beyond Connect, and I look forward to staying in touch with you. So Nirja and the team, any
Thank you
questions
so
for me?
much. Thank you so much, Surya. Really resonate with the one on goals. I also heard from somebody that, it's, yes, you need to put in your goals, but sometimes you multiply it, by an X factor, say 3x, 5x, 10x, and assume that that's your goal. You multiply it to such an extent that it really scares you. And that's when you kind of get the impetus to really, work towards it, that at least the 1x gets done.
That's very true. That's why I said 3, but do not go beyond 3, because the moment you go beyond 3, you start digressing. You do not know where to put your foot in.
True. Great. So now it's question time. So again, I would request people to raise their hands, because if everyone starts unmuting and talking, it will be difficult. Question, comments, any thoughts that you have, please feel free to raise your hand and we will unmute you. No comments from anyone? Okay. Someone by the name of Jaikumar, work-life balance among younger women. It's a question. Yeah, please ask.
Okay. So, great. Thank you so much, Shweta. So, to answer Jay Kumar's question here, work-life balance among younger women. So, when you say younger women, are you saying that non-married women, right? Single
Yeah.
women? That's my guess.
So, yeah, this is Smita. I'm actually logging in from his system. So, this is Smita from Pink Lemonade. So, basically, my question is, in a creative and communication agency, it's mostly all really young people. So, below 30 maximum. So, obviously, most of them are unmarried and probably first jobs or hardly 2-3 years of experience. But they all go through this huge work-life balance issue because one is probably the time they come in and things like that, and there's so much of work to be done. So it could be they are not able to prioritize, or they need to get the work out quickly because our closure times are really tight deadlines we have. So for example, somebody who's just hardly less than a year into a job, and the first job is already saying that work-life balance is just not happening for me. So how do
So,
you tackle
right.
such young crowd? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have to deal with such crowd, is that, Shweta?
Yeah. Smita.
Right,
Yeah.
Smita, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so Smita, it's quite unfortunate, because younger generation is actually thinking that way, because one good part is they have so many things to do, right? Back then, the working professional had probably 1 or 2 things to do: go to the office, come back, either do household chores or learn dancing or music, right? That's all we tend to do in the past. In the current scenario, what is happening is they want to have it all. They want to do everything in life: travel, trekking, music, dance, etc, 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 and also work, right?
That's
So, as
correct.
you rightly said, prioritizing is very, very important. Now, if to this particular person whom you're talking about, how much time he or she actually spends at the office, and what is the ask? Do you?
So basically, there are many like this. I would say I just gave one example. So they may come and say about example 11 or something, and they leave around 7:30. So they do have. I do know that they have their time for fun and all of that. But yet they come up saying that they have work-life balance issue. I mean, at one point, certain times I'm not able to kind of understand that, because I'm like, it's just the beginning of your career. What are you going to do in a
Exactly.
few years from now?
Correct, correct. True, I completely agree with you, and in fact, have also myself faced one or two such kids who have, given this, well, they didn't complain about work-life balance, but somehow they are not as committed as they are to work, right? The only way one can tackle this would be to keep putting them. Okay, so basically, we need to tell them that, look, 10 to 6 or 10 to 7, as the case is in your office, right? That is the time you need to enter. They have to give the respect is something which has to get into their brains. They have to respect their work, they have to respect their seniors. Right. So as we all know, the younger generation is not as committed, and for them it's just a matter of a pocket money or something like that, right? But yes, for some it is the money actually matters. So we'll have to talk to them in their own way, go probably kind of go into their mindset, and it's going to be a difficult task, Smita. I completely agree with you, I'm not denying that, but it's going to take some time. All that one we need to start thinking or talking to them would be, you do whatever activities that you want to do, but between this time to this time, or okay, probably you can't even get strict with the timing, right? As long as the project is gone with a deadline, it's done with a deadline, that's what matters to you, I'm sure. So the only way we can push it that way, because they're not going to listen to how committed the previous generation was, because it doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah.
What
So
matters to them
maybe
is their current life. Yeah.
I'd really like to know from the others. What do
Smita,
they?
Smita, I'm sorry, we have run out of time, and I would
Oh,
like
okay.
to give the opportunity for the couple of other questions that have come
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
so one is how to deal with salary reduction when joining after a break. I will let Surya answer that, but I also want to let people here know that we had a dedicated webinar on this topic a few months back, and if you go to the Inca YouTube channel, you'll find all the videos, and this one is also there. It was called salary negotiation. It was done by Lavanya Anand, so you will find the entire recording there. But Surya, your take on this?
Right. So a salary deduction, in fact, in one of the pointers that I had mentioned, is after a break in the career, the only way you can come back, maybe not see with a break, I'm sure there will be some kind of a reduction, but the only way you can be on par with it is to upgrade yourself. Keep upgrading yourself, get into some certification, do some online courses, and be on up to date with the latest trends. That's all it matters, and you can still pitch in for the same salary, or maybe the current salary of the market. It's perfectly fine, and people will know. So we all know, we all have our analysis of how figuring out what the market value is, right? What is the market value of yourself? I'm sure all of you would have assessed yourself. If not, please do it. There are a lot of websites which can help you understand what is your market value right now, and you can actually pitch in for that. In terms of a slight gap in the career, I think the best way is just join the company that suits your personality, that suits your requirement, and also is flexible hours as per your need. Just join it, then you can start talking or negotiating on the salary in the next job onwards, because by the time you already have an experience,
And the
right?
last question that I don't know whether it's a question or a comment, but Shweta is asking corporate readiness programs for women returnees. Shweta, what exactly were you wanting to know? Can you just elaborate? I'm trying to unmute you, but you could just quickly write on the chat window what is it that you want to know about this. While she writes, I know that there are a lot of programs that are available. See, one is that even corporates who launch restart programs, there are many who do a short intervention in terms of making them ready for the career. They would invest on the technology skills, they do invest on the soft skills, so that whatever gap exists is minimized to an extent. But beyond this also, there are lots of programs that are coming in terms of making you aware of what exactly is required in today's setup. Now, the industry is also changing. It is moving from what a corporate culture was to a startup culture, and today we hear of it as a gig economy. So a lot is also changing. Surya, anything that you need to say on this?
No, I completely agree. Like we said, there are a lot of programs that are coming up, and these programs that we are talking about also talks about the latest trends and current scenarios of the industry, no matter which industry you belong to. So yeah, they're all available. Some of them are available but at no cost too. So feel free to to upgrade and upskill yourself with those knowledges. It really helps.
Great. All right, we've gone beyond the time allocated for today, but it was a great session. So for me, the takeaways were that, what exists, exists. You can't really, just keep talking about it, but there are enough ways to deal with it. I love the way you put it across. Thank you for your time, and thank you, audience, for being so interactive, and hope you are able to take away a couple of pointers from here and start implementing them soon.
Thank you all, and all the very best. Feel free to reach out.
Thank
Take care.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.